Okay, so as we continue, so we see that in verse 7, just read verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. Verse 8. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through with the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plagues was stayed from the children of Israel. So there was a plague that was spreading because of this sin.
Wow, and then so the plague had stopped.
He stopped
because of what he had done.
What he had done.
Oh, it makes sense. And he stopped the plague.
He stopped the plague. Now, could it be that Satan was the one that brought? Remember, he the one that he was the originator of iniquity. He could have been that one that brought this Midianitish woman into the courts into the congregation of the Israelites, and then he brought sin in, and then it started to spread all over the other angels. You know, and then the plague started to spread, and then we see that it had to be stayed. That could have been Michael, the archangel, who pierced him, and cast him down to heaven, so it would not spread no further in heaven.
Wow. So it's almost kind of like that they're just actually planning.
Yes, they replan it. They're rehearsing it all over again, man. And
so you can actually see it.
You can
see what actually happened and how it actually stopped. And it did not affect, because if it stopped it, that means that all the worlds didn't get actually was infected in.
That's right. It's a possibility that only a certain few. Now look how many people it was. It says in verse 9, it says, and those that died in the plague were 20 and 4,000. 20 and 4,000. It says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my name, for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Man.
That had to be Christ.
Yes. Yes.
He's actually doing that.
Right.
So that we can live.
Right. So we can live. He spread. He had to kill. Like the war went on, and javelin killed the man and the Midianitish woman, and that represented Satan could have been cast out immediately, and all those that was with him already was slain, because he said the ones that was committing these whoredom, he said, what did he say to them in verse 4? Man, look how vicious the Lord, man. He don't play, man. He said, and the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. Wow. So
immediately in heaven, when they sinned, he asked what it was in. He asked what it was in. There was the heads.
Yeah.
So there was the heads to be hanged up. Man.
So man, and it says against the sun. So which means it says against the sun. Now isn't Israel in scripture as representing wow, let's go there, man. There's another connection. Revelations 12. You notice where it says the people, Israel, hang their heads up, right?
Yeah.
It says take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun. that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel. So now let's go to Revelations 12. Okay, Revelations 12. And 12 and 1.
Right here.
Says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with these sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Man, you know what that represents? The heads that was cut off, that was turned against the sun, represented Israel. That was the there are two kinds of brides here I see. This is the bride that would be adored as the rebirth. This is Israel being reborn. Yeah, because she clothed with the sun, and we see that Israel back then in Numbers 25 had their heads off, in which their face was against the sun.
Yeah.
So that means that Israel represented the female in this chapter 12 as the church, because we know Israel represents, or this woman represents the church, clothed with the sun. It could also be that Israel was, how would I say this, even during that time, and in relations to Christ coming, as okay, Christ was sent because of the transgression of his people. Now, could it be the fact that when their heads was turned against the sun, represented that there was a death in regards to Israel becoming resurrected into the newness of this reborn woman that we see in 12? Like, Israel had to die and still had to. I believe that she.
And in order for God to actually, in order for that to happen, God, and that's when Christ had to actually die for us.
Yeah, he had to die. He did have to die for us, but Israel could have been like, I'm trying to get the understanding, like how it's like the connections between the head and the sun, and he said turn their heads against the sun in regards. Oh, absolutely. Now it's starting to come to me, is that you know when the plague had to spread, right? And the plague was spreading, and then it had to stop. And in regards to the plague being spreaded and then stopped, those who was affected by the plague, basically their heads was beheaded. All right. And if you take the head from the body, you take the head, decapitate the head from the body dies. So could it be that these heads that was connected to the body represented that there were the heads in resemblance of leaders or pastors and people who govern the body of Christ, was the very thing that was contaminating the body, and he decapitated the head, representing to cut off leadership of those people who was contaminating the body so the body can live.
Wow.
To replace the leadership of Israel, because that's what the heads represent. It represent being the head of the home, leadership. You know what I'm saying? Christ is the head of the church. He took and decapitated the heads representing the leaders of Israel, who was allowing, this is the reason why they were polluted. And that's why I believe that Phinehas came up and he stepped up and he pierced the Midianitish woman and the man with the javelin, representing Christ.
That would make sense, because you can connect that to preaching.
Right.
When he was preaching against the people who was actually head of those in church.
Right. The leaders, the
He was preaching against those saying, He was preaching against the Pharisees, which was leaders,
right?
Which caused them to actually turn away from God.
Turn away from God, exactly.
The same thing that happened, and then he see them doing that same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow. So that's why I think
that
the heads.
Makes perfect sense.
It does. It makes sense that he took the heads because they were the leaders. They were the one that led them into that, which represents that when Christ, that's why Christ came on the scene, and that's why we see the woman clothed with the sun, not having the heads turned towards the sun as a judgment of his wrath, because we know that Christ represents the sun in Scripture, which means that he can rise and he can also descend. To rise in judgment and to descend represents Christ ascending from his death, going back to his Father, right? That's what the Son does, right? So when the Son actually, when Christ died and he appeared to his apostles after Pentecost, he's been with them for I think 40 days. He remained with them, and then they celebrated Pentecost after his resurrection. Well, no, I'm sorry. He appeared to them and he told them to wait in the upper room. But during the time before they actually went into the upper room, they saw Christ ascend. He ascends, the Son ascends. The Son ascends in the morning, right? Christ ascends up.
Yeah, in the morning, yeah.
And he also comes down, which the Son also comes down in the evening. Christ comes to return during the second coming of his return.
Wow, it's just a repeat every day.
A repeat. The Son has a significance. It's meaningful.
Man.
So he is coming down just like he's returning, because when his death, he ascended up after he appeared to the apostles. He told them to wait in the upper room. And then he's coming back down, which is the second coming of Christ, the same way a son is. And that's why the woman is clothed with the sun, because she represents that redemption, the rebirth. The rebirth of Israel, that she will be the redeemed, which means that she has been baptized and represent baptism as well, that once we had died, now we are resurrected unto righteousness, and we will be witnesses of his righteousness when he returns. We will be like his image. So, but we getting back onto the predestinated part, is that when you look at all this, that war broke out in heaven. The plagues were stayed. The plague spread it in heaven, and now we're down here being tested, and we have to prove our loyalty that we are able to go back to the place that we were already was from.
That makes sense about the heads too, because what did was John say in the book of John? That if you don't produce fruit, you will be actually cut down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You will be cut down. The same thing that what this was actually talking about.
Right.
Back inside of the book of Numbers.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. They were cut. Their heads were cut off. Man. So, man, could it be that? Man, this whole thing about resurrection to the newness of life. What if the life that we live in right now, and if you look at it on Deuteronomy 30, let's look at that. Go to Deuteronomy 30. It's almost as if we was talking about like deja vu. Like,
yeah.
It's crazy to say this, man, but I gotta take it in consideration though. Like, there were times of deja vu, man. I'm telling you, man, I've been at this certain particular time, and I'm like, man, no, man, I've been here before, man. Like, this is so familiar. And it's just so ironic, man. It just had those moments where, like, man, just something happened. Now, could it be that your spirit knows little trinkets that you are trying to give you a clue to, like, you've been here before? You just repeating the second part of this. This already been already played out.
Yeah.
Man.
You just repeat it over. You've been already created.
Yeah. Now look at Deuteronomy. Look at Deuteronomy 30. It's gonna tell another evidence tool, another example to make you consider something. All right, you wanna get that for us, Antonio?
Yeah. Which one?
Verse 19.
30:19.
Okay.
Hold on, wait for wait for
All right.
Okay.
All right.
30:19. All right, go ahead.
I called heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. Wow.
Set before you. Now let's look up that word set. I actually think set before you means something like predestinated.
Yeah, set before you. Set before you life and death. Almost giving you like it was a choice.
Yeah, choice.
To actually choose. And it's almost like God is, he can't tell you who you are because you have to choose it.
Yeah.
You have to, it's almost like, I understand, it's almost kind of giving an understanding, almost like now I see where heavy witchcraft is at.
Wow.
Which keeping you asleep.
Yes.
That's where I was going to actually take it earlier.
Yeah.
I was in Proverbs chapter 6.
Oh yeah, we gotta go there now, brother.
Because that is the key for God's people to understand where they at.
Set. Man. Look at his here. Man. Let's see. I'm gonna say this man. I think we tapping into something, man. I really think we're tapping into something that we need to really take heed to. You're right. The Lord wants us to understand. It actually, the word set actually means to place, to put in position, to lay, or to stand. Okay.
Hold on, did you say stand?
Yep.
That's a good word to use because see back in the day, back in like wartime,
yeah,
they were loyal to their leaders. And they said they had to stand for whatever that there was a leaders, that there was leaders had actually had did. So they were actually loyal to a cause.
They was loyal to the cause, but oh, you mean they had to stand for what?
Like say like the ones that God said actually cut off those when he told them to cut off the heads, them was the ones who actually had to stand for for God.
Right.
They were actually loyal.
Right.
Them was the ones who was actually loyal, who did not actually think for 1 second to go actually go actually, to question God. They knew where they had stood. When he said, when he gave it the command, that's what they had. That's what they had did. And that's why that right here it says, choose life or death, blessings or curses. God wants us to be in that same predicament. When he give a command, he wants us to be just like them. When he say something, he want to make sure that you're actually loyal to him, not be able to actually waver.
Right.
Or to actually pound on, because if you got to think about it, you're not actually loyal.
You're not loyal. Yeah. You got to be automatically.
You have to go act exactly as the word hits you. You have to just actually do it. And everybody else that is not serving God, even that was their own, probably, cousins and families, mothers, brothers and sisters. They had to go to kill people that they had loved. So everybody that was against God was a threat.
And I do want to say that and bringing it back, that loyalty is very important, man. That's why I believe that, he said set before you life and death. We have to get to the point where you say he want us to figure out, he can't tell us, because then it wouldn't be faith.
Yeah.
That's why he would say we have to seek, we have to search, we have to knock, and it'll be open unto us. But if we never seek, we never search, it'll never be revealed to us. The disciples represented they represented the pillars, the foundation of the church, who discovered the faith world. They understood who they were. They came into their identity, and everything around the world seemed like it was a stage play. It became lifeless to them, and everything that they at one point had thought that in this life they thought it was, they were fishermen. They saw a different view, because before they met Christ, it was normal to them to be in the world. It was normal to do those things of the world. But when they met Christ, it was reversed. It seemed like everything only mattered, which was the death, burial, and resurrection of the Master's will. That was it.
And everybody else that came against Christ, even for them to actually leave their homes and everything, it was almost like he was actually training them the exact same way. To be actually loyal, to be loyal followers.
That was the faith world. They saw and felt something, man. You can't tell me, man, the people, mentally, and well as a human being like you and I, that has the same mind, same ability to think and reason, and that respects life. I'm talking about respect life to the point where we know they respected life because they followed under Christ's teachings, to the point where they would actually allow themselves to be eaten by lions in Roman Colosseums.
That's what I'm saying.
What kind of faith is that?
They know who they actually were.
They knew, they tapped into something, man. To be eaten by a lion, man. To be eaten by a lion, to be crucified. Yeah, you tapped into something. You know that you saw. That's why Enoch was taken, because he understood beyond the level of the normal. That's why Elijah was taken, because he saw outside of the realm of natural. The natural realm. And that's why the disciples was ready to die. We think, you know what I'm saying? Man, that's why Stephen, when he was persecuted, the scripture says when they stoned Stephen, he looked up and he saw Christ standing on the right hand of the Father, and the heavens opened up and he saw that. Like it's like that. Your faith, you are responsible in this life to exercise your faith. Either you're going to be 10% all your life, your whole adult life, 10% of faith, or you can invest by seeking, studying, reading, praying, and it can grow into 70, 80%. Now you're like a disciple. Now you're turning away from the world and you're doing things that people say, why you quit your job? all you do is read the Bible? All you do is study? Do you know can't you see those angels in the clouds right now? Do you see that throne above you right now? You see the great white throne of judgment? I see that right now. You know why?
It's almost like when you become like that, you know who the commander is.
Yeah.
You see like for what it actually is.
Man.
Everything about your life now is about honoring God.
Yeah.
And that's how that's how it actually was. To the point where that they understood that.
Yeah, it had an experience, man, and I think that's what we lacking is because our hearts is not fully committed. It's like you don't get that experience just because you basically got to put yourself in a position to get that experience.
Yeah. That's what it is. They had an experience, and they actually had chose to actually go that route, and God allowed them to actually see.
Yes, to see that route. And man, look at this though in Jeremiah. Go to Jeremiah. Look at Jeremiah 25. Now this, I will have to say, is evidence that we are on a timeline scale. Time is going by. And Jeremiah saw the end of the world, man. He saw it back in his day. John the Revelator saw the end of the world back in their day. Daniel saw it. We only repeat what has already been.
Has to be. This does not make. What I'm saying is making sense that all these people back in the Old Testament seen the exact same thing.
Yeah.
What was going to happen?
It was already going to happen.
And
Christ.
telling the exact same story.
Yes.
That everybody else is actually telling. Nobody telling. It's not like the story is actually different. It's the exact same, story.
Man, and then think about the prophecy of Christ. Thousands of years before he even became in the flesh.
And that everything T was
foretold. It's like I think the Father
So what does that actually tell you?
Man.
That if all of that stuff happened already, we're just reliving it over. That's
it.
Because think about it. Man. What other possible way with all of these people that lived thousands of years before you is telling exactly what actually happened? There's nothing else that's going to actually change. How it's written, what it was told, is exactly what's going to happen. So if you think that something else is going to happen because of you see this, new age, technology world, and you think it's not going to end that way, that means that you're still sleeping still.
Yeah. Yeah, you sleep.
You're still sleeping. You've been that spell that Satan been putting on the whole world.
Yeah.
And actually putting them to sleep. They can't actually see it.
That's it. Antonio, that's what the people are made up of on this world. You have the awakened and you have the sleep. You have those who are asleep, those who are woke, man. And this life, it's almost like the Father have to be like, mind blown, like to see that how we can't know that this has been a second rerun, and the fact that the prophecy reveals these things, and the prophecy actually was fulfilled from the like to the letter, like you said, with Christ, just his life. And if you got a prophecy that fulfills these things to the letter, That's why prophecy is there to give us the
That's
clues.
why prophecy is so important. Because if you understand prophecy, you understand that everything is going to happen the way that God says it's going to happen. Nothing you can say or nothing you can do can actually change it.
Yeah.
He put it in a way so you can see it inside of order.
Right.
So that should be pure enough for us to say, man, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of the when.
There you go. That's when you know
That's
that.
The whole point is a matter of when.
Yes.
We can keep living life the way this is, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Life is not going to go on like people actually think it is. Somewhere in your life, things is going to actually turn. It's going to actually turn.
Yeah.
Right now, look at it. Look at California, how it's actually burning. That's a clear evidence right there.
Yeah.
Every year, them woods burn more and more and more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And nobody cannot do nothing either, but just try to throw water on it, and it still keeps actually burning.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, they show on the news every day.
Man.
Still burning. Yeah, Cleveland.
Still burning every day.
Yeah.
Every day, all day. See, man, that could be message that the Lord given us to bring our attention, and that the strong delusions that we dealing with is making us fall asleep, man.
Fall asleep.
Man, look, man, if this is not evidence for you to know that we are in a story that has been written already, I don't know what else is going to do it. Look at Jeremiah, man. I didn't even see this like how I see it now after what we've been talking about. Jeremiah chapter 25. Verse 31. Now, listen, I'm going to read it right. 31 to 33. Okay. This was Jeremiah. He already was shown this.
Wow.
He was already, matter of fact, look at verse 30. I'm going to start with verse 30. It says, therefore prophesy. This is a prophecy. Therefore prophesiest thou against them all these words, and say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout he shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth.
Hello. I'm gonna call you back of this recording.